Alright, what's up fellas? So I'm gonna make a video here that probably nobody's ever gonna watch. It's weird, it's kind of like talking to myself a little bit, but so what? You know, sometimes you need imaginary friends. Whatever. So what I'm gonna do is regrip this club. The idea of just showing people that have never done it how to do it. I'm not an expert by any means, but whatever. First things first, get yourself a nice ice frosty chalice with a light lager, maybe a dash of some Bloody Mary mix. Oh man, sweet nectar, sweet nectar. Okay, this is an old Hogan Apex. But you know, new grip. This is actually a grip that has a core, a little lighter core that has this little plastic wrapper on it here. Let me rip this off. Couple nuances I learned from this exercise was that the butt diameter of the shaft was thicker than normal. Tried to put a regular grip on there, and then when I did it and grabbed it, felt thick. It felt like an oversized grip. So I bought I had to find these grips that had a different core size, which basically means a thinner rubber. So that when you put this thinner rubber on this increased diameter shaft, it makes for a regular size feel of a grip. But not only that, with thinner rubber, put your fingers closer to the steel. So now I think I'm going to have more feel in the club. So I'm kind of stoked. Thinner rubber, much more feel to the steel. It'll be interesting. But it made for a challenge of trying to get the grip on the steel. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So what I like to do is you take the grip just to measure how much tape you need, right? Eyeball it. I try and get the steel dead center on the tape. Leave about 3/4 to an inch of extra tape at the end. Right, just roll over one side. Try not to get any big creases. It doesn't matter if you do, because under the rubber you're really not going to feel anything. But you know, while you're doing it, you want to try and make it as clean and pure as you can. This is a little tricky is just getting this, because this is basically just double-sided stick tape, right? Sticky on both sides. It's got this backing on one side. You got to try and get that backing to get loose. Peel that off. Take another drink of your sweet nectar. Check the Padre game. Oh, it's a brawl. They just happen to be replaying a brawl, which is kind of fun to watch. They say that some people say to twist that extra material there, and it just keeps any debris from falling in your shaft later. It's always annoying when you got a golf club and there's some little rock or something down in there, and you lift the club up and you hear it trickle down to the bottom. And on that note, before you regrip a club, you should knock the shaft out, blow it out. You don't want any shit in there like old epoxy or whatever, because then once you grip it, you'd have to pop the grip off to dump whatever that annoying little piece of shit is out of there. Okay, here we go. Now, you take the grip, you take some of this. Back in the old days, they had jars of stuff that was straight called gas. I think it was meaning gasoline. But that's what they use. It's just I don't fucking know. I'm not a chemist, but it's a petroleum-based product that evaporates quickly, essentially. I should probably know what this is. And I should probably be using gloves because you don't want this shit on your fingers. And man, I should have explained. So I just put a heavy squirt in there. I plugged this end up with my finger. Heavy squirt. And then you kind of dump it and spin it and dump it. You're just trying to coat the inside of the grip. But then use gloves and then wipe your fingers off because this stuff does mess your skin up. I know that for a fact. I don't do this very often, so I don't really care, but it does screw your skin up when it gets on your skin. Then take this cup underneath to catch the excess. You slowly just try and coat this tape and catch it. And I don't really care. I actually like to leave the very end of it down here dry because when you go to put that grip on, if you want to elongate it, if you want it to stretch down there, you want that tackiness down there. I don't know if that makes sense. So then there's a preference of how you want the grip to sit. Every grip is usually like this, right? Basic, but then there's a brand on it, right? So I think the manufacturers intend for the brand to be face up and kind of aligned with the alignment of the club. I think it's kind of a practice on the tour. I don't really know this, but unless you're sponsored, unless you're sponsored by that, you don't have to show that to people. And if you don't like gripping it standard every time, or you don't trust the dude gripping your stuff, you want to hide that. You put it on the bottom side. So I like mine on the bottom side. There's still a couple of alignment lines on here, but I'm putting my label down. Then with this shaft, because it has a little expanded or a little above average butt diameter. Oh, got a text and it made my phone vibrate. Alright. I'm never going to send this to anybody. This thing, I didn't even know what this thing was. Can you see this? Until I needed it. And I figured out what it was. It's to help you get grips on there. So you insert this in. Yeah, look at this. It's weird, right? But you insert it right over the shaft. You put the grip on it. Well, you can't really see what I'm doing. Look. You put the grip on it like this. Right? Put the label down. Put this over the shaft, and then it expands that shaft or the grip to get it right on there. Because if you didn't, the way you normally do it, a grip is and this I can actually almost do. You just manipulate it on there. Well, let's just go B. And then it just slides on. Regrip on a club.
That sounds boring.
It's actually like the most fun I've had in like a month.
Are you video recording it?
Yeah.
Oh, am I in it now?
Yep, you're in there now. Oh, are you bored? Don't worry.